Hey folks, it is time for TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 23. This is TWiP. All right, it's TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 23. I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Troy Miller, to step through some of the latest submissions to the TWiP Pro community. Troy, how's it going, man? What's going on over there?
It's going good. It's hot. I want it to not be hot anymore. I want to be able to wear a beanie.
Is that the line of heat? Is like, okay, can I wear cover or not? Right?
Yeah. If I can wear a beanie, that's good weather. Right now, this is just keeping me from being sunburned when I go outside. So it's a hat in the summer and beanies in the winter, but I prefer the beanies.
And you're down in Southern California, right? So it's a different kind of heat. So yeah, that's that first world heat. That's not third world heat. Right?
Humidity down here has been bad. It's been like, 30-40%, which is, yes, you're right. It's not like Puerto Rico.
Right.
Or
I just saying.
My daughter was in China and, it was hot and like 80% humidity. I get it.
Well,
but still, the old noggin doesn't like.
Yeah. Heat is not your friend normally unless you're freezing.
And brides and grooms in tuxedos or, full suits and things like that. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Rough. Yeah, it's really rough.
All right. Well, let's jump through the latest submissions. We've got this first image. He's from member Janet Clausen. This is a shot of the Milky Way. We were just talking about the Milky Way before we started recording. And
we were, yeah.
Yeah, I was able to capture my first Milky Way down in Puerto Rico last week with the help of Tracy Lee. Thank you, Tracy. But it doesn't look like this one. So this one looks like it's sideways. Mine was vertical. Why is this one sideways?
Because it moves.
It moves.
It moves, yeah.
I love it. What do you think about this? You've had some experience shooting Milky Way shots. What do you think about this one?
I do. It's Milky Ways are very challenging, and I'd be curious to know if she knew this was going to come up in this particular orientation. Mm-hmm. And this was pre-planned, or was it, hey, I'm going to go shoot Milky Way at the beach, and it just happens to be horizontal and stuff? Because a lot of it is planning. Planning is really a key part. Mm-hmm. How do you know this is not a composite? It doesn't look like one.
No, yeah.
I just don't see those telltale signs of a composite. I don't see any halos. I'm guessing 20-ish second exposure. Anything longer than that, you get blurry stars. Mm-hmm. The water has moved. If it's a composite, it's really well done. But, the gradient on the horizon and stuff tells me it feels much more natural. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. I always wonder that, though, when I look at Milky Way, because I've seen a lot of really well done Milky Way composites where they just, you capture the Milky Way and use it as part of another scene that they've shot. And they all come out looking great, for the most part. But yeah, you're right. This one, I wouldn't put this in the category of composite. But Janik, when he sees this, he can let us know, is this actually a composite or is it the real deal? In either case, well done, sir, right?
Yeah, really great done. I do think it needs to come down a little bit in brightness. I think that trying to open it up for the foreground is causing some noise. I think that if you bring that down a little bit of a hint of a silhouette of the foreground would be fine. And that would also help the sky a little bit because, in between those stars, it really should be black. We really want to see, dark sky there. The horizon is fine because there's probably light there. And maybe trim the right side a little bit. Mm-hmm. It looks like there's some water over there. Maybe this was like on a peninsula or something. But
on the right side.
Yeah, on the right half.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Yeah, looks like a little sandbar or a beach or something over there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe just crop that off in that way. It's centering the Milky Way in there. Also, bringing the exposure down, increasing the blacks are going to increase the saturation of that Milky Way center, and that's gonna look really nice. There's a lot of really cool colors in the Milky Way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm bitten by the Milky Way bug now, so I have to go out and try it again and again and again and get it. And based on your experiences, I'm assuming that this was like drug dealer photography. I got it the first one, and now it's going to be an elusive chase for the rest of my life to get it again.
Yeah, because then what happens is then you go to a place like this or another place and you're like, ooh, I need the Milky Way behind here. When is it going to be here? Is it going to be up? Is it going to be horizontal? Is it going to be vertical? Is it what time of the day or night? Oh, 4 in the morning? I don't think so. You know, where's the moon? Oh, crap, the moon's in the wrong place. It's going to, or, oh, I want the moon behind me now to light the foreground. So that's where the challenge comes in then, right? Is like, okay, this is the vision that I have. I think maybe composites tend to fall in replacement for that. It's like, I can just composite that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Before we move on from this one, that seems like a lot of clairvoyance to know where the Milky Way is going to be, where the moon's going to be, where it's going to show up. There's an app for that, though, right? What app is there that you use to predict the location of the Milky Way or the moon, etc.?
Well, there's a lot that you can look at, like Star Walk and Sky Guide and things like that. But PhotoPills is the one that I use, because you can actually pick a date. It has an AR map, and it has a virtual bird's eye view map that points in directions. So you can actually see, okay, the Milky Way's here, and you can look through the AR and see exactly where it's going to rotate. It's complex. I'm still learning it, but I'm like, okay, I want the moon to be 90 degrees to my right or behind me lighting the landscape. I want to see the Milky Way, what time of day. You know, I want this in the element in there. And they have a tutorial where they talk about that, about how they do that with a lighthouse and how he figures out where he wants everything. Yeah. And it's a lot of planning, but that's how you get that unique shot that most people just get sort of happenstance. You can plan it, and go out there and create something that most people haven't. And that's what I
learned from Tracy Lee as well. I would encourage you to go check out Tracy Lee's website. Just Google her. I think it's Tracy Lee Photography, I want to say. But she's kind of hung her hat on this kind of photography. And one of the things that I took away from hanging out with her and learning how to do this is, or at least learning the mechanics of how to do it. You don't really know how to do it until you've shot several of these, right?
Right.
But was planning. That was the big word, planning, and not just trying to say, you know, I'm going to go get the Milky Way and head out that night to go capture the Milky Way. She sometimes plans out her Milky Way shots several weeks or even a month or so in advance before she goes to the location on the planet where she knows it's going to be in a certain location with a certain foreground and all that stuff, you know?
Right.
So she's like stalking the Milky Way, right? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing with the moon. You know, I was just up in Mammoth, and I was at Mona Lake, and I saw these tuphas formation that I really want the moon in the shot. You know, well, it turns out that moon's not going to be there until next year in like January.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, another good reason to come out and, you know.
Yeah. And these are tools that you know, amazing photographers like Ansel Adams never had available to them. Right. So, you have them. Ansel Adams. I mean, the Milky Way's been around since literally the beginning of time. Right. So you could predict where it's going to be through many, many other means. But in terms of having it as easy as your phone and augmented reality and being able to look through your camera and predict your shot well ahead of time, that's new. So yeah, it's those kinds of things just blows me away, the tech that we have available to us.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I use an app called Sunseeker, where when I'm at a wedding and I look at a hallway and I know that it's facing somewhere where the sun's going to set, and I'm like, ooh, wouldn't this be great if I could get the sun coming right down this hallway with my bride there? It's all AR. You hold up your camera, you walk around, you're like, oh, it's going to come right through this mountain pass or right through here. And then like, okay, I got to be back here at 6:45. And then we plan the day and we walk in. There it is. 90% of the time, it's exactly where I thought it was going to be, but it's usually close enough. Boom.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. All
right. Well, Janik Clausen, thank you so much for this beautiful shot of the Milky Way. And keep submitting, man. These are really cool.
Yeah, those are good.
This next shot is from Andy S. Andy submits a lot into TWiP Pro and is fantastic at what she does. Look at this. These looks like baby shoes on a book of some sort, maybe a Bible or some other old book with some sort of vegetation in the background or on the book as well. What do you think?
I dig it. And because she submitted it because I like black and white, she said so.
Yeah. What a way to suck up to the judge, right?
Yeah. Hey, I didn't get a package from Australia or anything, you know.
I still need to record that video for Mr. Stampley. Yeah.
But you know, I really love this. I think that the mood is really good. I think that the storytelling is great. I love the flare from the upper right hand corner that feels like it was added to me because the light direction is wrong. But you know, it could be flare from, say, a secondary light source or something. So I dig it. I would love to see the blacks come down a little bit more. I feel it's a little flat, but it's what a wonderful storytelling element with the shoes and the book, and then the adding of the foliage there. I mean, that's really ultimately what it's about.
And that's where I was going to go with it. Yeah, exactly. We've been harping on this whole storytelling thing for several recordings, and yeah, this definitely tells a story, or you can weave one in your head as to what's going on here, and it looks really good. I dig the processing because black and white is very easy to skew over sharpened or under sharpened and flat, and this one it feels right when I look at it. I don't immediately feel like, oh, it's too much in either direction. It looks really good.
Yeah. I may crop a little bit up from the bottom and from the left side. Crop in a little bit on the left. Get those shoes maybe a little bit more centered. I think it's okay I understand they're kind of off on thirds, but I think you could really come in and clean up some of that, or remove some of that negative space, if you will, that isn't part of the story.
Yeah.
But it's really great.
These shoes, though. These baby shoes. Do they still make baby shoes like this? I think these are.
No, you buy $300 Nikes and.
Right. Yeah. And Vans and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. These are old school baby shoes.
I could see a whole series with these shoes.
Old school.
You could tell a whole story. Yeah, this is really great.
Yeah, very cool. Andy S., thank you so much for this. Good work. Very cool. I want to see more in the series. If you have more, Andy, please post them. Let us see them. All right. The next shot up is from Craig Stampley. I think you've set a trend of sucking up to Troy Miller with black and white.
Oh, my God.
People are feeding the Troy Miller koi with bread here.
Oh,
this is cool though. Those clouds are dramatic, and the reflections on this building are crazy. This almost looks like HDR in black and white to me. Is it?
Yeah. This is wicked cool. This is wicked cool. Yeah, I love this. The graphic element in this is just outstanding. Yeah. This is definitely this is one of those images when it comes up and you look at it, you're like, oh crap, it's not mine.
Yeah,
it's neat, and it's neat how it's shot out of the lower left hand corner as opposed to just centered and straight up, and the converging lines are really amazing. I would crop it tighter because I want to see more tension, like almost to where that building is right to the top right corner, almost touching the edge, kind of pushing its way out. But that's just
that's subjectivity.
Yeah, very subjective. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just personal preference, but
yeah, I kind of like it like it is. I like to see, because the clouds, to me, the clouds are part of the story of this image and their reflection in the building to show you that this is an all glass building for the most part, and it's these clouds, and it's really interesting to me. The angle is really interesting because it really lets you know how tall this building actually is, because the clouds are coming all the way down to the bottom. So the building itself is jutting up inside the let me see if I can cancel that. There we go. I had a call coming in on silent. But the building is inside all these clouds, is sort of nestled in there. I don't know. I like it.
Well, imagine taking that story element that you're looking at, and if you crop it nice and tight, so that those edges are really close, it's going to feel like there's not enough room in the frame for the building to fit.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of tension that I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Right. But however you do this is one of those images that I would probably spend a lot of time on my own, cropping in different ways and looking at it. And I would probably never be happy with it. I would always be like, ooh, I like it loose and open, and like, oh no, now today I'm grumpy, so today I want it cropped nice and tight, and you know.
I want to see a silhouette of somebody swan diving off the top of this building. That would be
So Craig said, so fortunately not every wedding photo has to revolve around the bride and groom. So apparently he shot this like during a wedding. So that's cool, which means to me on a wedding day, he couldn't go out and scout this location and spend all day there. And I've always wanted to shoot this building. Maybe he just had a moment to click, right? Like I've got, ooh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, I agree. He just aimed up and said, "Yeah, oh, there's a cool shot." Click, and then move on. Yeah, I'd be interested to know, was this shot planned, or was it luck or serendipity? Very cool. Craig Stamfley, rocking the house, man. All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right, the next one is from Howard Yemish. Remember Howard Yemish? Look at this. Is that not beautiful?
That is
Make
neat.
sure I'm not cropping that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's full frame. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, this is clearly. I mean, I would say it's clearly the long exposure of a beach, but this could be. I was looking at it and I was like, is that inverted? Are those clouds? That are upside down? But no, it's not. Those are clouds on the top, and then. You've got, right. I love the mixture of hot and cold, where you've got the bluish water in the cold spectrum, color palette, and then the top is fiery. I love that. Yeah.
I love the juxtaposition of both of those as well, and the long exposure. So that smooth ocean. The only thing I struggle with is I feel like there's two photos in here. The upper the skyline, right, with the sunset and a little bit of the water. Or maybe right down to where the break is, and then the other way around, because I like that triangle format form of shape of the sand.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're competing with each other in this image. So if I crop the top, leave a little bit of that sunlight in there, or the sunset, I like that better. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I could go either way, or you could just make it 50-50. I know that's breaking a rule of using horizon in the middle. I know, you're like, oh, heresy! How dare you evil man? But you could, because it's hot and cold, right?
You could, yeah,
whether you should or not,
Troy's gonna struggle with that. Just letting you know.
hey,
Troy, my long time,
Don't let Troy curtail and restrict your creativity.
Definitely do not. Yeah, break all the rules.
Break all the rules. That's the whole point. Break all the rules. This is art. Pixels were born to be punished. Punish them.
We need a T-shirt, by the way. I'm just officially saying we need a T-shirt
that says "Pixels were born to be punished."
Yeah.
I know.
TWiP PRO.
All right, I will put that on the list. We'll make that. I literally do want to make. There's like 3 or 4 that I want to put out there. All right, next one up. Thanks, Howard Yermish, for this. This is fantastic. The next shot, number 5, is from Kyle Nishioka. Took it on the 4th of July. Looks like. Look at this.
Yeah, so cool.
In his description, or in what he wrote with this one, he was talking about how these look like flowers, and these don't look like flowers to me. They look like palm trees. Maybe it's because I'm in California and we see them every day, but this reminds me of palm trees a whole lot. What do you think?
Yeah, no, they look just like palm trees. I saw palm trees immediately. So yeah, but what's really neat is that the fireworks, greatly exposed. You did that long exposure. That's wonderful. The colors are also in the foreground. So the lights that are under the trees happen to be warm, which is nice because it matches sort of that warm tone in the firework. And the green is obviously lighting the foreground, like where the people are. So you've got this nice harmonious color palette throughout the entire image, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is clean. I thought you were going to say something about the horizon.
No, the horizon's good. It's on the lower third. I mean, look. So if this was going to go,
horizon even though is it? It feels like maybe it just feels unbalanced because there's people on the left or on the right versus none or very few on the left side. Because it feels like the horizon line on the right side might be higher, but maybe it's an optical illusion. I can't tell.
I think maybe because he shot it with a really wide angle lens. Because there's another photographer on the right, and he feels like he's leaning in a little bit, so that could just be sort of the the distortion from the wide angle lens.
Yep.
If this was to go to competition, the only thing that I would suggest is the floating head, the top of the head in the lower left-hand corner would be nice to take that out.
Yeah.
And that's really tough. I mean, that's one of those things where you're in a park and you just don't have a lot of, you can't go, hey, unless it's somebody then you should have told them to move.
Yeah.
But that's it. But other than that, I mean, this is pretty incredible. Even if you were to say crop out some of the people in the foreground, say, just to show the fireworks off, it's still pretty spectacular.
Now, do you know your constellations?
I know how to find the North Star.
Do you see in this shot? I don't know. I'm gonna get called out on this, but over here in the shot, I see. Is that Orion's belt on the left side there with his arrow, his bow and arrow up there? You see
I
that?
don't.
You see those three horizontal stars and then 3 vertical stars in the upper left hand corner?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's Orion's belt.
And then would that make that the North Star right there?
That would
make one.
Yeah, the one above the fireworks would make that the North Star.
Well, Kyle can tell us because
Kyle can tell us. Yeah.
He probably knows what direction that he was shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, good job, Kyle. Well, our members are getting out there and just capturing. I love that. No cameras. They're taking that lens cap off instead of leaving them in the bag, right?
Right.
Yep. And speaking of that, the next shot up is from Craig Stampley. Once again, and here we go. Check this guy out. Craig loves these old cars. Look at that.
Yeah.
Messerschmitt, that's Messerschmitt, right?
Yeah, Messerschmitt. Yeah, I've never seen one in person.
That is a cool looking car. I could rock that. I think I could rock that car.
I dig it. No, it's a really cool shot. I can see his reflection in the hubcap a little bit there.
Oh yeah, there he is in there. Where's Waldo in right there?
Yeah. I love the inclusion of the guy walking. I wished he had gotten a little bit past the car.
The guy walking, yeah,
because it's a neat storytelling element. You've got a car show and there's guys walking around, and I like that a lot.
Yeah. This is cool. I mean, it's you can see the challenge, I think, with photographing these older cars at car shows, and Craig took the challenge on, because it's like, how do you get a unique shot at these events without it just being hey, I was at a car show and I took a photo of this beautiful car, on to the next one.
Yeah, it's
you got to be creative. Like, he's cutting the car in half. He's got down low. He included another spectator in there. So it's an interesting challenge, and the processing on this is subtle too. I mean, he didn't go overboard with cranking up the clarity and the saturation and all that, but yet it feels almost photojournalistic in some ways, because it's like, this is what was there.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that red comes out neat. I like the contrast between the red and the blue sky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reflection and everything. Oh, it's just great.
Yeah. What's special about the Messerschmitt? What's special about those cars? Do you know?
No.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, I've seen photos of them, but I don't know anything about them.
Oh yeah. Well, you're the car guy. I'm not a car guy.
No, unless it's got a V8 in it and it's like pre-74, I can't tell you anything about it.
All right. Cool. Fair enough. All right. Craig Stampley, thank you you submitted twice today. Thank you for both of those submissions. Very cool. All right. The next one is from this guy we all know. His name is Troy Miller. Troy, you are stepping outside of your comfort zone. You went to a concert? What does a metal band have to do with weddings? Is that even legal? Come on.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it was a good day. Our good friend Steve Brazel who's a radio personality at KCAL. So he goes and he photographs these for their blog. So you can go to kcal.com and see a lot of the images and the articles that he wrote about this. So he was kind enough to invite me, take me along. I got a press pass, and going and shooting something like this is very much like what you and I talked sort of in the virtual green room about why you spend time doing things manually or photographing other things other than your main subject, right? So this, for me, being completely different than weddings, but yet being photography is a challenge, is artistically challenging. And I will say that I have an immense amount of respect for the concert photographers that are out there, including Steve. This stuff is hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard to point your camera at the stage and take a picture. It's hard to get a unique shot of them on the stage. It's hard to get a moment that is different than a snapshot, and be in the right place at the right time and be focused. And you're in a gigantic pit of people that are bumping you and pushing you. So it's very challenging.
Yeah.
And it teaches me, how to use my gear better, for sure.
Yeah, because you're using it in a different way than you normally use it. So yeah. So what a shot like this, clearly a fast shutter speed, right? And what walk us through the gear that you're using and the exposure.
So this one is shot with a Nikon D850, and I've got a 24 to 120 on here, I believe. I think that was the only lens I took on the Nikon. And it's set on continuous focus, so it's always tracking, and I'm moving the bracket around trying to keep it on his face as he's moving around. And I just keep the camera up to my eye and I wait. I wait until, because this is what I want. I wanted the angel statue in the back. I wanted the guitarist somewhere in the front, and if I could get the lead singer in there somewhere, I would be really happy. And I just wait. And he came over to the stack or the amps right there and started playing, and I was like,
jeez, wow.
That's it. I think I try to keep it between 500th of a second and up for the hair whips and for the moving, and they move really fast.
And what ISO did you say that already?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if I have all the info.
Do you tend to use auto ISO, or do you preset your ISO and let it stay there?
I shoot on aperture priority, and I manually adjust the ISO throughout the day to help me kind of get to where I want to be with that. I tried using the auto ISO that day, and it was not having it. It was not good.
Yeah.
So let's see. I just looked it up on my laptop. It was shot at 4:21 p.m. Yep, 24 to 120. 640th of a second ISO 320, and I used exposure compensation of minus 1.3 at f4.
Nice. ISO 320. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. They were in direct sunlight. When you have all that black in the background and you have direct sunlight, it's really, really, really challenging. So I always keep my finger on my exposure compensation button, and I'm always rolling it. And I know what the camera will capture, what it's capable of capturing. So.
And two questions. So one, are you switching from wedding photography to concert photography?
No, it's too hot out there.
And then two, please tell me you had some sort of ear protection out there.
Oh yeah. I have custom earplugs.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
because I could see blood streaming out of your ear that close to those. What's
crazy is 90% of the kids that are there watching this are not wearing any kind of ear protection.
Oh wow.
And I can't imagine. And it's loud. It's loud even with those things in. It's still loud, because what you can't see is in front of this stage is a gigantic sub, which is pretty amazing to stand in front of, by the way.
It's just like vibrating all the water in your body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like listening to a jet take off.
Wow. Yeah. The kids not wearing that ear protection. You're gonna, you can enjoy it now, but later you're gonna be there with that megaphone next to your ear going, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And rock music is one of the worst things for your ears because of the change in the decibel range that, in the hits and the, yeah.
You don't get those, what do they call them? What are the little fibers in your ears? Not cilia. I forget the fibers in your ears. Whatever those fibers in your ears, they tell me that they don't regenerate. So once they're gone, they're gone. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, and a 50-cent set of earplugs will let you hear your grandkids. So.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is the earplugs that I'm using. God, I'm trying to think about who makes them. They're custom made, and so they block out all the harmful level, but I can hear you talk. Which is awesome because just foam earplugs, you can't hear them sing. You can't hear the voices. And we're only allowed 3 songs from the pit, and then security kicks us out. So with normal foam earplugs, it's really hard to tell when they've switched songs because we can't hear sometimes it's hard to hear the melody and hear them play and know it's a different song because you just hear noise.
Yeah.
But with the custom earplugs, you can hear them. You can hear them sing. You can hear the vocals. You can hear somebody talk to you.
Nice.
So that's really cool. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. And you put in a processed version of this image as well. So
Yeah.
looking at the color, let's take a look at the processed version, which is high contrast black and white. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you had to put this in there. So tell me about this. Tell me about the processing and which one is you enjoy better.
Well, the processed one definitely I like better because this is kind of the vision that I have, when I see these shots. And when I took the shot, I wanted to highlight the angel in the background. So I did the spotlight, with that. So I did all the editing. All this editing was done in Capture One. And I just wanted to grunge it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they're a metal band. They don't want to. They shouldn't look soft and pretty. That's not the essence or the image that they're portraying. That's why they're wearing all the black and they got black paint on their arms and they're wearing the makeup. I mean, this is them. This is their feel. Yeah. So I want to edit to tell that story, not just photojournalistically but artistically.
Nice. I love it. Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
You look like you had a good time out there, man.
Oh, we had a blast. Steve and I had an amazing time. And this was the first day of the last tour that Vans is doing. So Vans Warped Tour gathers all these bands together and travels around the country. So this was the first day of the last year. So it was cool to be there, and it was cool to see these bands. And these guys are there every year. So they're fun to photograph. Mm. They put on a killer show. Even if you don't like the music, it's awesome.
Yeah.
To see the performance. Yeah. And that was really inspiring.
You're there for the visuals too, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm excited. Yeah. Speaking with Steve Brazel, I know how well I can imagine from speaking with him and looking at some of his work how challenging this is, and you get new respect for the Brazel after going out there and literally being in the pit, right? And then seeing what he's able to harvest from that anarchy, right?
I know, and I'm in the same pit as him, and we come back and he shows me images, and I'm like, where was that? And then he goes, oh, well, there you are. You're right there in the shot. And I'm looking at the stage and he's shooting. I don't know. He's got a good eye and he's got good timing for it. And he knows where things are and he watches and he's good at it. Yeah, so he's got some amazing stuff.
And repetition, right? He shoots a lot more than you in there. So, yep. Very cool stuff. Well, thanks everyone for all your submissions. This has been a good one. I'm happy to see the traction that we're getting for these critique sessions and all the activity. So we are moving in earnest now over this next week away from Slack and into Mighty Networks for the TWiP Pro community. So you'll start seeing things wind down over in the Slack implementation of TWiP Pro and more exclusive sort of things happening over on Mighty. I haven't turned on commerce yet on the Mighty network side of things, so probably within the next day or so I'll turn that on because the charge for TWiP Pro is $4.99. So far everybody's been enjoying it for free on purpose because I wanted to give everyone a chance to sort of get migrated over before hitting them with bills and all that and kind of get a feel for it. But when I turn that on, what'll happen is when you go to log in, it will say, hey, do you want to sign up? Blah, 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 blah. Then you'll sign in and enter your credit card information and continue going from there. And please do that because you help us do these shows and you help us keep the lights on. You help us keep TWiP going. You help to keep the community going. And I don't think this kind of level of interaction would be possible on a free level community because we'd have a lot more noise and troll activity in the community. So that's the whole,
no trolls. Trolls are bad.
No trolls. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of that small little $4.99 a month is to help us, A, keep the lights on and B, keep the trolls out. So cool, man. Well, Troy Miller, where should people go to get a look at this shot and other things that you've done? Did you post this shot on your website?
No, I did not. I posted it in the TWiP Pro community though, as a member image, just to kind of throw that in there.
Yeah.
And no, I'm bad at updating my website, so it changes a little bit slower. But Instagram, I posted it there. So Spicy Jello. I'm also going to be starting a new Instagram account called SpicyJello_BW, which is just going to be black and white work.
Oh, look at you! Cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What is it? Andy's, made the comment that, Troy likes black and white. And I thought, I do. I love black and white. And I literally, a lot of my personal work is black and white. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a try,
Why not?
and I'll see if I can keep up with it. I'm not a social media guru. So when it comes to keeping on that stuff, I'm pretty lax, but I'll feed black and white images in there.
Yeah. I think you should. I think that'd be fantastic. And people like a thematic Instagram page, right?
I have a couple artists I follow that's all black and white, and I'm very inspired by it. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, you've inspired a lot of photographers today, Troy Miller. So
I hope so.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Take care, bud. Thank you.
All right, folks. You know the deal. So if you want to join TWiP Pro, just head over to TWiPPro.com and sign up and submit your images into the photo critique topic area on TWiP Pro, and you'll more than likely end up in one of these recordings in the coming weeks. All right, folks. That's it for this episode or this critique. We'll see you next time. Peace. This is TWiP.